It's like 73 degrees out. So let's go do a little bit of showmanship practice. I'm going to share the tips with you that I tell our brand new 4-Hers that have never done showmanship or halter before, and how I explain what they need to be doing to them. So we have Miss Rose, who's so excited for showmanship. She's like, yes, let me out of my stall. Yay. So it was really, really windy, and the neighbor was actually flying a kite. So I was excited to see how Rose would handle all that, but she's a pro, so she was totally fine. So the area that I practiced some showmanship in today was not a very large area. It was about half of a round pen's worth of some dry spot. So I wanted to be able to show you guys that you don't need a huge covered arena. If you even have just a dry spot of yard, you can practice things like showmanship in the spring when it's really bad and muddy, or in the winter even. You just need a dry spot that is not going to be slippery, and you have plenty of space to be able to do some showmanship in a spot that's this size. So here I'm going to show you how you need to be holding your lead rope when you're getting ready for showmanship. And this is something that I talk to all of our first year 4-H members, and really anybody else that doesn't know how to do showmanship. Sometimes they're coming from a different species altogether, or a draft horse, and they do things completely different in those. So you're going to take the end of your lead rope and make a nice big loop that's nice and loose, and hold that in your left hand. And with your right hand, you are going to hold it just below the chain. You don't ever want to be touching the chain. So I tell my kids that you are going to hold your arms like you're holding a lunch tray. You don't want to be spilling your milk. You want to keep it nice and level with your thumbs on top, your elbows resting into the side. Sometimes kids get a little lackadaisical like that and they'll drop their hands, but then your milk spills. So you got to make sure you're holding it up at all times. When you're standing next to your horse, you want to make sure that you are in their eyesight. So I like to be in between their nose and their throat latch so that the horse can see what you're doing. So here I'm showing you in between their nose and their throat latch is a good spot so that they can watch and listen to what you're saying. The next thing that I tell all our 4-Hers is that when you're leading your horse for showmanship and halter, you want to make sure you are pushing your hand forward as opposed to pulling them. So there, I try to demonstrate that, and since Rose is good at showmanship and halter, she's not really a great one to demonstrate with that. But you don't want to be in front of your horse with your hand behind pulling your horse, because that's going to obviously knock your milk over if you were carrying a tray. So make sure you push that right hand forward when you go to walk off, and step off with the right foot as well. That way she knows, or he knows, you're going to move. So you're going to push this hand forward just like that and step with that right foot and start walking off. And then when you want to go to stop, you're going to say whoa and take one more step. This is really good when you're teaching your horse to stop. That way they have kind of a second to understand what you're saying. When you go to back your horse up, you're not going to walk in front of your horse either. There, she kind of threw her shoulder and dropped it. We're still working on the backing, but you can have your left foot and her left foot in line, but do not be directly in front of your horse. So here again, I'm going to practice our whoa. So whoa, and then we do one more step. And I really should have lunged her today, but didn't have enough time. So here when I ask her to back, I'm going to kiss or cluck, and then ideally your horse should move off of your body language. So what that means is when I step towards that horse, they need to back out of my space. That's how they operate in their world. So they need to be listening to your body language and back off. When you pivot, you want to make sure that you are moving that shoulder. Keep the neck nice and straight, and you want to work on just moving that shoulder. Once you get the shoulder moving away, you want to make sure your front left foot is crossing in front of your front right foot. And then your back right foot should not be moving at all, which there she stepped out of it just a smidge. Definitely could have brushed her a bit more too. She is enjoying the mud. So if this video was helpful, feel free to share it with somebody else that you think might enjoy it. And make sure you follow and subscribe.